Hey, what's up, everyone? It's Jonathan here, and I want to talk about a new dev diary that NASCAR or the iRacing has put out for the NASCAR 25 game, and I want to go through this with details of what they're going to do and see. This is basically going to be talk about the career mode. Actually, I went through this a few times, so we're going to go through this together and yeah, show you what they got in store.
I'm really excited that we've announced the 4 NASCAR National Series for our game. For the first time ever, we're going to feature the ARCA Menards Racing Series and entry point for the career mode. Featuring all 4 series allow us to give the player a complete experience that somebody might make to become a champion.
So why having ARCA trucks, Xfinity and Cup is so important, especially from a design perspective, is we finally get to do what is a realistic career mode that somebody would actually follow in real life. Think about the drivers who started in ARCA, cut their teeth in ARCA, went then to trucks, got noticed, got to Xfinity, and finally made their mark in Cup.
So yeah, Todd and I spent a lot of time just talking about the feeling of what it would be like if you were a young kid and you're starting your grandpa's shop, and his shop was this like dirty old gas station, and he just kind of said, hey, you can use my shop, there's the tool.
All right. So first, I want to talk about this because this is cool. Showing your basically your grandfather's garage for doing going on about Arca series, and you have just like a regular shop would look like. You got your old, you know, standard garage door, and looks like they have a. I don't know if that's a. I'm not sure what that is over there. I can't really tell, but you're standardized what you would have at your own house garage. So barn door, sort of thing. But this is cool because to me this shows the steps of what NASCAR and iRacing or in this case ARCA series shows what it means to start from the ground up, literally from the ground up. That you don't have this multi-dollar investment in your a shop or whatever. You are 100% built in to your own garage, and you have to work your way through to get to the big times. Now, obviously, in real life, does this portray some 100% how it works? Not really, because in today's world, it's very hard to see some Arcus owner somehow jump into the Cup Series. I mean, maybe the trucks, but even then, that's very hard to do. So, still, this is cool to see. It's awesome to portray what it feels like to be in the ARCA series that you're just doing it out of the shop, but yet you're going to Daytona to race. That's what's cool about it. So, yeah, but really good details and stuff. Soda cans, all that stuff. One little single laptop, notepads galore. Usually, when you have a little fun team, you gotta do everything yourself. So you have to remember everything for yourself. So yeah, and all that stuff. Good details.
Tools, have at it. And then through that, you started to realize that you actually had some talent. And you worked your way up, and you went from the shop to there was a pole barn or a metal building that's also on the property, and that's where you run your truck team. And then you start to get more sponsors, and you start to have more success. So then you move up to the Xfinity series, and then at that point you can build your own shop. And
One second there, sorry. What they showed here was someone's garage that they would start their ARCA series from. Chassis, building the chassis, garage doors, showing filming. So this actually shows really cool ideas about what it should, what you want it to look like. So cool idea.
you get more success there, and it just keeps steamrolling. And then all of a sudden you get to the point where you're in the Cup Series. And that's where we built the Taj Mahal of race shops.
In the career mode, you'll be tasked with making decisions on how to spend your time. And it's not all about just what you do on the racetrack. You're going to have to do things to build your reputation. And that might be charitable work or a movie opportunity. There's going to be things that your sponsors ask you to do.
All right, so you see this, and what Junior's talking about is that you have to correspond, or you have to respond to what fits at this time. So let me actually go through and let Junior finish, and then I'll kind of play this.
And you'll have to balance between building your reputation and your brand and being successful on the racetrack.
Having access.
All right, so as you heard Junior say that you have to kind of balance, right, what you really want to do. Do you want to build up your reputation or work on your your garage or work on your car and your racing? It's a balance, right? Because you still want to build a brand, you still want to build your reputation up to say, hey, I'm a good person, I'm a good driver, you sponsor me, do this. But also at the same time, I need to make my car go faster. It's either or, it's not both, right? They're giving you. So that's a good challenge to have. Um, anyone can play it differently. Like, I don't care about my brand. I just want to race, which you would say, okay, that's a good thing, but maybe you don't get the same amount of sponsors that you would get, or the higher sponsors that you would get if you were to do a cameo in a movie or do more social media stuff, and that would help more sponsors know you better, and that they maybe would sponsor you for a car, right? Some things could change, right? And that happens in real life. Like sometimes you could be finishing top five, but you're like, why am I not getting the sponsors I should be getting? Well, they don't know you, and that's how they have to. You're a great race car driver. That's all they know. Does their sponsor fit you, right? Does their brand fit you? And vice versa, right? So that's kind of what you need to learn in racing. It's not just about racing. It's about learning how to do everything else in between, and that's the hard part about racing. So it's not what you see on racetrack; it's what's off racetrack is the difficult thing. So um, either way, should be a good thing to see in career mode.
Access to Dale Jr. has been amazing. We've never had the ability to work with a driver at this level before, and not just somebody who just comes in and plays the game and says, that's good. He's actually actively involved in helping design the game.
Designing out the career mode was a Herculean effort because you want to make sure that you have all the right details in there about what makes a NASCAR career really authentic, but at the same time, you don't want to make everybody have to go through all the minutia of managing a race team and the finances and the employees. So really, it's a nice balance, and I think we've pulled this off really well in NASCAR 25, where if you want to just concentrate as being a driver, you can do that while mildly being involved in some of the decision making. But if you want to go in there and manage every last little detail, you're going to be able to do that as well.
I feel like it.
Let's go back to a few things here. First of all, let's go back to this screen where you're in the office of, now it shows the RCR because you see the number 8 of Kyle Busch. This could just be a placeholder of cars. Maybe that's not exactly how you're going to have it, but as you see here, you have all your net earnings that you're going to go through. That's a lot of stuff. Now, I had to make sure this it said what it said. It says cheats. I don't know what that means, but we'll see, right? You have the winnings, you have sponsor payout, incentive payout, employees bonus. So obviously, if you do certain things well, as I'm peeking, I'm sorry, let me get that out of there. Um, you know, employee bonuses and stuff like that, that will help. Expensive, so now staff, you have to pay the staffs, get parts, tires, and then at the end, so how much you would pay, you get earnings plus the expenses of all that. Did you profit? Did you gain money or lose money? Just like any business, that's how it runs, right? You get all the money profits, you have to pay expenses. Did you net gain? Right? Did you gain money? Now, if you think about this in real life, if you talk about Danny Hamlin, what he says that this is always in a negative. I don't know about that, but either way, they're not making the same kind of money as NASCAR. So here's the I don't know if I can move this. Let me just move this over for a second so you can see this. This is what if you were to make your own team, you would race earnings. So you get $48,415 per race. You get sponsor uh, sure you basically incentives for a sponsor. So if you finish in the top 40, which basically just finished the damn race, you would get $2,420 from your sponsors. Series sponsors earnings, it says zero, so I'm assuming because this is the first race, you're not have made no money yet. So because it says Cup Series Season 1, Race 1, 36 of Daytona 500. So move this back over here quickly. Um, so if you see this, it looks pretty. It looks nice. Obviously, what a real Cup Series garage would look like. But as for what you're going through, because it says staff, got sponsors, social media. I mean, they are going through a lot in this. And it says reputation one, so that means it looks like there's levels and everything. So right now you have $0. But again, excuse me for the coughing here. Um, it looks like you're going to go into full details here, and I really like it for sure.
And I think we've
Um, Also, he talked about. Let me bring this guy back up here in a better light. Oop, maybe not at that. There we go. Excuse me. The What he also said about how you want to manage your career mode and stuff like that is that you don't have to go ahead and do everything that you want to do. Like you don't have to if you don't want to really mess with the career mode side of building your shop and all that stuff. You don't have to. So it looks like to me that you can have like a simulation and you simulate stuff, but keep in mind, I think they go with the bare basics. Okay, that means they're not going to give you the high stuff that you think you may need. They're going to go with the conservative route, right? They're not going to go with things that you might want or you probably could get, but then you don't. So that's kind of what I'm getting at. That you could do this, but it might hurt you in your driving ability. So we'll see how that goes. But to me, this is exciting to see all that you don't have to manage it, or micromanage it really well. But if you want to, you go ahead. I probably will. I tend to become a neat freak. When I say that I don't care too much about the career mode, I do. It's just that like if certain things are getting redundant and something's over and over and over, I'd say skip it. But if this goes in full details, I think it's gonna. I want to make sure that I'm included in everything that goes on in my shop. So we'll see.
go in there and manage every last little detail, you're going to be able to do that as well.
I feel like it gives them more of a perspective of how it actually works, right? Coming up through the ranks, deciding how to upgrade your vehicle, right? Those are decisions that you've got to make in real life. Do you want to buy a new set of shocks? I only have this allocated amount of money, right? Do I buy a new set of shocks? Do I, rebuild my engine? Do I buy a new set of tires? And those are the decisions that, like I said, I've had to make in my career, and to be able to correlate, that story and create, sort of your own blueprint in your career, I think is a neat aspect of the game.
One of the cool things about finishing a race in this game is going to be how your performance has resonated within the social media world. So it's not just going to be drivers who might be commenting on how you performed during the race on social media, but some of the most popular NASCAR social media influencers will be chiming in as well.
So my question is: has Eric Estep or the guys from NASCAR Weekly Podcast, Jeff Glark, Jordan Bianchi, Bob Hockris, do you think those guys, those media people, does NASCAR sarcasm, chime in, right? Did they reach out to these guys to say, hey, can we use your names and stuff we can put in? We'll make sure we'll keep it, PG and stuff, obviously, because this is a kid's game in sorts. So, but do we see that? That would be awesome to see, right? Because you see it in social media all the time that it's based on your what happens in a race. You're going to see it on social media within 30 seconds, right? It's that happens, believe me, right? We just past weekend in Daytona with all the wrecks, so um, that's going to be cool, right? Try to make it as realistic as possible is something that I want to see too. I mean, obviously, social media is a big key to motorsports race and racing in general. So, yeah, that's gonna be cool. I see right here already. Uh, we have the Chevy truck. Looks awesome. It's looks like exactly like you took it from the iRacing itself. So we'll go into this
Part of
part.
this game being all about the driver's perspective is the interaction that drivers have between.
Okay, before he talks a little bit more. So this is looks like where you're in the garage now. I don't know if you are able to drive out of the garage or this is just a setting that you're in the garage area. It looks like they're at Atlanta because I can see the background here, the green safety barrier. So it looks like they're in Atlanta. You can tell this has the specs of the Monster Games in it because Monster Games has this thing where team goals are to get a time of lap time of 39.613, and you ran almost a minute. Good grief, that's a slow ass truck. But yeah, I think that is something that you can tell if Monster Games makes. But again, looks really good. See, it's team radio. Let's get out there. So I mean, so you've hit go practice. I'm assuming you can have the crew chief. So I'm assuming if there's a crew chief, I don't know how detailed setups this is going to be. If they're going to allow setups to be like you can fine tune the setups yourself, or just have a bar that says you want to be tighter, want to be looser, just same thing like Monster Games has. Now let's be very clear that crew chiefs like obviously has setups for all these vehicles, trucks, Xfinity Cup, ARCA. Well, maybe not ARCA per se because ARCA has a different body, but still they have at least for the other three series. They could implement those details in there so you can fine tune your car yourself. But yeah, again, if you're a kid and don't want to deal with it, but the cars are tired loose, you can adjust it that way. Or you just don't want to mess with all this stuff. So we'll see if that's all in there in due time.
Themselves and their crew chief and their spotter. So that's something that we're really focusing on while you're in the car, while you're driving, while you're in the menus, making it feel less like a UI screen and more like an interaction between you and them.
So we've really put together
So that's really good to do. So yeah, looking forward to see what they could do for the crew chief side and that stuff.
the most amazing team that I can think of to build a NASCAR game. We've got decades of experience across many of us, across every platform imaginable. We've
NASCAR
got
Heat.
laser scanned assets. We've got amazing driving physics. We've got literally a company that has been built on the foundation of being authentic and true to the sport. And you add all those things together, and it's really this recipe to make the best NASCAR experience possible.
For more information about the game, visit.
Okay, so that's all the Dev Diary had for that. I am excited for this game. I really hope they have some. They've really put the efforts into this. I know they have. Let's be very clear. iRacing, though people do complain about iRacing simulation stuff, right? There are some things that they don't like. It's not truly simulation and things like that. But they try every season, every year to make it as real as possible. You're talking about trying to mimic real life, and to have a computer tell you that to be that real, it's hard, right? You have to force it sometimes, and computers there's some things that computer can't do, right? But I am excited to see what they can do for our console game. Now, as far as I know, this is going to be on Steam as well. So we may, what I call, sometimes when you have a Steam game, it's a PC game, you can get away with putting a lot more stuff in a PC game than you can on console. So I don't know if the PC version is going to be a little different, or if they're just going to keep the same. The difference is maybe you can run in better graphics, right? You can run full 1080, 60 frames, all that, right? You'll probably be able to. And believe me, I'll tell you right now, they're going to be running in 60 frames. The first thing a lot of people complained about when NASCAR 21 Evolution is that you couldn't do 60 frames a second. It was so crappy. It was like 30 frames or whatever, and it was sometimes certain places it was 720, somewhere 1080 or whatever. Believe me, I think they're gonna focus on getting 1080 and 60 frames. So at least that. But I like this. I like what they're going. Career mode looks great. Details look pretty good. We just got to see what the presentation looks like, and of course, just get a gameplay, right? Just some kind of gameplay of it. I'm pretty sure probably by episode 4 we start seeing that a little bit, where we're going to see the racing physics and see how that goes. Today's world about trying to be surprised about a game, it's over, right? And everyone does it. Look, let's be very clear. Besides, like Rockstar, most games kind of come out with their own dev diaries and stuff like that in their own way. When it comes to motorsports racing and sports games, you can't be hold details back, right? You got to tell them, because if they want it as realistic as possible, and you give us a crappy game, especially with NASCAR 21 Ignition did, at this point you have to give us information, to give us the promise that what we are going to get is what you're seeing showing us now is what we're going to get, right? So hopefully that is the case. But anyways, yeah, thanks for watching. Comment below what you're excited about for NASCAR 25 and what we'll see more of, and what you want to see more of in these dev diaries. So let me know in the comments below about that. And if you want to see more of these NASCAR 25 dev diaries or iRacing content, consider subscribing. Thanks for watching. Hope to see you for the next one.